What do you do if you have Reid's difficult conversation formula, you fill it all out, you love it, and then when it comes to the moment of actually using it, you freeze? This is Rita Mahalko from readaboutsex.com. This is Cathy Bertulli from theintimacydojo.com.
Just wear a tux and don't say anything?
Well, I don't think that actually makes the communication go.
But I look good.
You do.
Airline, lost my luggage. That's why I'm wearing a tux today, because I actually had my tux with me. But we're tuxing this up today. Go. What's your answer?
I think, first of all, include that in your difficult conversation. Like, put that in. I'm afraid that I'll freeze up.
Ooh, that's good.
And you can even, like, write down a note and say, I have something I'd like to talk about you, and I'm afraid I'll freeze up. Can you be patient with me? And, like, hand it to them. And
that'll work. That's good. I like that. That's a better answer than I was going to give. So difficult conversation formula. Go to readaboutsex.com/convo, CONVO, and that'll bring you to an article that'll explain it in a little bit more depth.
A printable PDF.
And you can sign up and we'll send you the PDF so you can print it out, which is the worksheet.
Really helpful.
So yeah, I mean, that's a great answer. Yeah. Whenever you're afraid you're going to freeze up, that becomes one of the things you should tell the other person. Whenever you're afraid of being so nervous, tell them. And when you use the difficult conversation formula, the way it's designed is you let people know what you're afraid of, you let people know what you'd like to have happen, and then you reveal the thing that you need to reveal. And also, before all that, you ask them if this is a good time for you to tell them something. So when you get that handled, what it does is it gets the other person into a more empathetic, not empathic, empathetic listening space, and you're not just blurting the things out.
Yeah, it gives them context, and it's really powerful. It calms their primitive brain, lets them hear what you're saying in a different way. Another thing, if you have trouble verbally expressing things, you could write it all out and hand it, like say, hey, would you be willing to read something while I sit here with you?
Yeah.
Because I tend to freeze up when I try to talk about it.
There's something I'm really nervous about telling you, so I wrote it down. I know that sounds dorky, but do you have time to read it? Because I don't think I can actually tell you yet. Most people will be like, now understand, most people will think that they're in trouble.
Yes.
Because no one in the history of the world has ever been called down to the principal's office and thought like, oh boy, I want to get appreciated from the principal. So whenever somebody says, I need to tell you something, we're all like, it's bad. The end is near.
Can we talk?
Yeah. So know that most people do that. Other people have used the difficult conversation formula to use it in emails. So again, if you're so nervous that you can't give somebody something, you can send the email. And there's lots of different ways to use it.
And if it's a big thing and you're freezing up repeatedly, I would encourage you to start with small things and practice. I practiced it with a friend before. I'm like, okay, I want to practice today. We're going to just hang out for a couple hours and constantly bring up things we're afraid of that are small so that my brain can realize that not everyone's going to melt down and leave me forever.
You can use the difficult conversation formula and then practice the conversation with a friend. One, just being your friend, and you're just telling them what you need to tell so-and-so, and then you can have them stand in and pretend that they're so-and-so. Yeah. You can read the conversation, to yourself in a mirror and practice getting the words out and taking those baby steps too. It sounds really silly, but exercising those muscles of having difficult conversations and practicing using your words is so powerful, especially if you're somebody who freezes up. And over time, you will just get better at being able to say those things that you need to say, even if every time you need to practice in a mirror or with a friend. And saying those things that you could never say over time, as you get better and better and say more of those things, I believe, for the most part, it can only improve your life.
Oh, it makes such a difference. And I actually, if it's really hard for you to talk to a human, practice with your pet or a small child that doesn't understand words yet. I would go to my cat, and literally I've had this conversation when I was practicing. I'm like, Molly, I'd like to talk to you. Is this a good time? Okay, you don't mind if we talk while you lick yourself? Okay. So what I'm afraid of is that you're going to run away or leave me or pee on my shoes. What I'd like to have happen is to have you really respect my clothing. And the thing I want to say is, I noticed you left fur all over my pants.
You've had that exact same conversation with me. You told me I was the only one that you ever had that conversation with. What do you think about this advice today? Hit subscribe, share this video, leave a comment. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in, Sex Geek. If you would like to continue with the brain sex, do me a favor and click subscribe right here. If you'd like to watch me on social media, that's where you're going to go. Next video, maybe? And if you really would like your own Sex Geek t-shirt, please click right here, right now. Boop. No, really, like...